Hi there and welcome to the Builder's Office. My name is Hugh. Welcome to another episode, and where are we going to start with this one today? Got a fun one for you. Are builders going under? It's a hot topic at the moment, so we've really got to address it. We've got to address the elephant in the room, I guess you could say. So like everybody, if you can, like, subscribe, depending on what platform you're on, excuse me, follow, and whatever else there might be. Share this around because I'm getting the sense at the moment that more people need to know what's going on in the building industry. There's so many people out there that are wanting to build, and I'm sure you're one of them. If you're listening to this or watching this, whatever you might be doing, I know right now that you guys need this information, and to be able to get through what's going on at the moment with your home and your building project, this stuff's really going to help you. So I hope that everybody shares the information and we can get a little bit more sort of going on. So really helps. Subscribe, like, follow, whatever it might be. That way we can get this out there to a lot more people and be able to help a lot more people. So what are we here for today? Today, we really need to talk about some of the things that are going on. And the sad part is that that builders and businesses, there's still a lot going under, and it's a really sad thing at the moment because it's more than what we actually think. I was reading something just the other day, the statistics sort of showing that over the last what's it been? I think the stats that I was seeing went back to when the last time the highest amount of insolvencies were actually happening in the building industry alone. So we won't go into businesses as a whole because it's it's a lot larger than that. So back in 2014 was one of the highest, was one of the years that had the highest rate of insolvencies in the building industry. And the ASIC, so the Australian Securities Investment Commission, their statistics were showing in 2014 that there were somewhere around the 1,800 insolvencies in 2014, just in the building industry. That's that sort of statistic, like you sort of see that, and that's a worrying thing in itself. How many people were affected by that? Like, I'd hate to think of how many people were affected by that. It was declining, so steadily over the last 10 years, 9 years, it was dropping back down. It did get down under 1,000, but it was still around 1,000 at the lowest point, which is still a staggering number just in the building industry. And when you think about that, it's so prevalent that we all should be worried about this. And myself as a builder, like, I'm worried about it because not for concern over my business, but everybody else's and everybody's homes. Because at the end of the day, we all want to be able to just do things to get the best for clients and for the homeowners. And there could be other things that could be throwing a spanner in the works. So we need to really be on top of that. And so the concerning factor is that, yes, there are a lot of insolvencies happening. And over the last 2 years, it has risen back up because at the start of the pandemic, that was when it was at its lowest, and it had declined since 2014 to that point. So the insolvencies were low then, in comparison to what they are reaching back up to now. And going by this, at the moment, like, we're sitting somewhere around the 1,650 in this financial year. So financial year ending 2023, end of June. Right now, we're sitting at 1,650, and they're estimating at the moment that it's going to reach that 1,800 that we got up to in 2014 again. That's a worrying prospect. And when we're seeing that sort of thing, well, what's actually going on out there? Like, are we talking about builders that are incompetent at their job? Not necessarily. Is it a little bit of mismanagement? Most likely, when it comes to the finances or when it comes to quoting or things like this. So what are the things that really should you as a homeowner, what should you be listening to, or what should you be questioning when you're looking at building or doing any kind of work on your home? So that's why I'm sort of going through some of these stats. Why am I telling you about that? Is to get to the point of what can you do to mitigate any risk? And what risk are you actually going to be mitigating by asking some of these fun little questions? So I want you to be informed. I want you to be able to be confident in choosing a builder that is going to be right for you. It's going to be a good fit. Just remember, number one thing is a good fit, because builds take a long time and you need to be able to get along with the person and be able to do all the resolution when there are problems and be able to go through any questions that you might have without fear of being told no, that this is just the way that it is, and be able to get a really good understanding of what's going on around you for yourself, because at the end of the day, you're going to be paying a lot of money and you need to make sure that it is going to be going to the right place and in the best way possible. So working through some of this, I did work out, and I've got my little sheet, so you can be sure that that you're getting some pretty decent information here. So going through this, so I've done that. What questions you need to know, and you should be able to get some answers to. So can you ask a builder, what's your financial status at the moment? And really, you should be able to ask this. Like I've been asked this, and I've encouraged my clients to actually ask me these sorts of things. Is what's the financial status of your business? Are you worried? Okay, we lost some money during the pandemic. Yes, a lot of people did. Most builders did. And if they didn't, or if they say that they haven't, I would say that they're probably lying, and you should be questioning them a little bit more. Could you ask them for a profit and loss statement? Well, quite possibly you could. I know that I wouldn't have a problem providing a very basic profit and loss statement, because at the end of the day, intellectual property inside a business starts to get out there, and a lot of people get a little bit wound up about that. So we can definitely provide some basic information about the financial status of the business. You can certainly do, and I know that there are people talking about this at the moment with credit checking builders, and there's talk, I know in some of the northern states of Australia, of credit and financial stability checks of builders coming from the regulators, so like your VBA or QBCC up in Queensland. I have heard, now not saying that sort of thing is happening, but in a way there's a lot of things that sort of tell me that some of that should be happening, because there's a lot of guys that go out there and they're predominantly running on finance to run their businesses the whole time, and that's not conducive to being able to sustain a business well, especially not a building business, not with the things that we've seen. If this sort of thing, another pandemic or another GFC or something was to hit again, what's to say that we're not going to lose another great lot of people? So could those 2014 numbers of the greatest insolvencies be related to the GFC back in 2009? Quite possibly. So could we continue to see more insolvencies over the next couple of years, right up until 5 years after the pandemic started? So let's just say in 2025, 2026, we could be seeing more insolvencies then. Not predicting the future, but there's every possibility that could be happening. And I'd hate to see that happening. I don't want to see these guys that are really good builders go out of business. So yeah, we want to get this out to you and make sure that you can get some really good things. Another really sort of, I guess you could call it the unknown little bit of information about building is a thing called work in progress. And work in progress is a calculation that gets done to ascertain how many bills you've got outstanding, how many bills are due to be paid, when your income is actually going to be coming in, and what your cash statement is at any one time, just to make sure that, okay, we know that we're going to be having income coming in to be able to pay all the bills that are going to be going out, so not trading as insolvent, and making sure that what is coming up ahead of us is going to be working to within the budgets to make sure that everything's going to be going on right. I mean, just the other day, I was reading something and somebody put a post on a public forum and they were asking a question about, why did I get a bill at the end of a build? Unceremoniously, the builder has put in a claim for payment, which this is a big no-no. A claim for payment that was the original contract price plus a 350% increase on labour costs, and was claiming that, well, we just need to be paid this, without doing all the fun things of doing variations, which I really don't like variations at all. I try to make sure that things are quoted and costed accordingly before we start a project, so that we don't get those surprises. But it was one of those things where there's some things that get done and we get a little bit worried about it, and I'm probably digressing a little bit too far, but when that sort of thing's happening, they're not doing their WIP, so work in progress calculations. So that they should have known earlier that they were going to be having an issue with the payments that were going to be going out with their labour costs and all that sort of thing, if they were actually doing their work in progress calculation. And now a work in progress calculation, I know guys that can do it daily, I know guys that can do it weekly, I know that guys that can do it monthly. Should you be doing it regularly? Should the builder be doing it regularly? Yes, they should. So definitely ask a builder when you're talking to them if they do a work in progress calculation. And some call it WIP, some call it WIPper, depending on whether they've got where they've gotten some of their learnings from. But it is just a work in progress calculation, and you just need to ask them, do they know what it is? If they don't know what it is, that's a red flag. Like, to me, that is a massive red flag. Should you know how much your outgoings are, when you're going to be making claims, all these sorts of things, the builder should know this, and they should know, because in doing a work in progress, they will also be able to find out whether the budget's being met, and they'll be able to know very, very, very quickly whether they've got issues. And that is a telltale sign of when somebody is actually trading insolvent. If they haven't done that calculation, most likely, they could be trading insolvent, and that's just a big red flag to me. So definitely, that's probably one of the ones that I'd be asking, because it's a telltale sign. And if you can get your head around that, then yeah, you'll be able to find out what's going on for your builder before you get much further. So little tricks, little tips that we could give you. I'm going to want to give you a few more along the way as well, so don't hesitate to ask. And yeah, we'll try to get some more information out to you in regards to this. Red flags when it comes to choosing a builder. We're going to go through some of that in the next couple of weeks. I'm endeavouring to be able to provide as much information to everybody and answer your questions. So jump onto Instagram, because we are on Instagram. Do reels and stories on that, and asking questions. So the Builder's Office is on Instagram. That is a really good way to get in touch with us, and you can actually ask your questions, and I'll be asking questions on there. So check that out and get onto us. But I want to thank you for listening today. I hope that's been insightful and has given you a couple of little tips and tricks to be able to work out whether your builder is going to be capable of completing your project, and they're going to be good to work with. So my name's Hugh. Thank you for joining me today on the Builder's Office. I look forward to seeing you next week, and we'll find something fun to be able to talk about next week. Thanks again, and we'll see you then.